Joining us now is a top 10 most wanted running back of all time.
Oh, yeah.
Electrifying. Not only running, but catching, and whenever he scored, he celebrated in beautiful fashion with a little ball roll that will forever be synonymous with not only Chargers, but the NFL as a whole. Currently a pundit and analyst for the NFL Network, Hall of Famer, ladies and gentlemen, LaDainian Tomlinson.
Yeah!
How are we, man?
How you doing? How you guys doing, man?
I'm great. How are you? Thank you so much for joining us. We're obviously big fans of yours. It's great to chat again, boss.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of your show, man. Congratulations on that. You're doing some awesome stuff right there.
Well, I'll tell you what. Yesterday we did a full hour and 20 minutes where you couldn't make out a word we're saying. So I think we are on the right path, but we're certainly taking steps backwards, which is something you've never done. NFL Network, you love it over there, LT?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a really good transition for me, Pat. As you know, coming off the field, you know, you're kind of looking for something to, you know, I was 32 when I retired, man. You know, I couldn't just sit at home or play golf every day, even though I love to play golf, no question about that. But at the same time, I wanted to continue to be around the game and kind of get out the house a little bit. And so it's been great. I've been doing it 10 years now. Wow, I can't believe that, but it's been great.
Hey, happy 10-year anniversary on TV.
Woo.
We knew that. We knew that, obviously. We sent you a cake. It should be on its way. NFL Network has brand new studios. You're very good. Hey, you're very good on TV. I think everybody enjoys the hell out of you. When you were playing, did you think you were going to get into media, or was it something that just kind of showed up after you retired and everybody was
Man, hell no, I didn't think I was going to get into the media. You know, Pat, I was really one of those guys that was like, man, I would never get on TV and talk about guys and, you know, all that kind of stuff, because I understand it's hard. You know, the game is hard and you're going to make mistakes out there. So I've always approached, you know, my analysis more of constructive criticism. Like if I get on a guy, I'm going to try to also encourage that guy of what he can do better. And so I think, you know, that's been kind of my style. Of course, you want to say something sometimes to grab headlines. And heck, I'm always a straight shooter. You ask me a question, I'm going to give it to you. And so that's also kind of my persona and the way I am.
Well, we appreciate it. We enjoy it. I'm sure there's some players that hate it. I think for us, in the same vein that you're talking about, making it to the NFL is impossible. Okay, it's very difficult to do. The amount of, you know, hard work and I think sacrifice never gets talked about. Like whenever guys are up at like 5 a.m. in high school running miles and miles doing push-ups as opposed to getting to go out with everybody, like that little sacrifice that's happening throughout their entire high school career never gets talked about because it's kind of just like expected. So I think making it to the NFL, the amount people have had to give up and work and everything is impossible. Winning in the NFL is fucking impossible. But it's hard not to say somebody fucking stinks, doesn't it? I mean, it is hard, LT. Isn't it? Sometimes it's hard not to say like, this team fucking stinks. Even though I understand that they're not. It's difficult, LT.
Yeah, it is, especially, you know, I think where the game has changed so much now. And, you know, you know what? I'm going to tell you what perturbs me.
Here we go.
I'm just going to give it to you,
Good
Pat.
word.
You know, guys today, like running backs, for example, for one thing, there are no more, you know, one show running backs, guys that did it all, you know, in my day. There are always guys, you know, I mean, Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry, you know, like they probably are guys to be the main guys. They don't need help. But the majority of the NFL now, you know, it's rotating guys. It's guys specialist position. And you still have guys that top out. Like one long run, one catch. Come get me. Like,
say it, LT.
Dude,
say it.
Stay in there. And I'm speaking honestly because I play fantasy football now, so I'm going off the rails a little bit, you know.
Somebody fucked you, huh? Somebody tapped out. You needed a couple more points.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Sounds
Sick
like,
of it.
It's almost like, I think it's more difficult for the running back as well. And tell me if I'm wrong. Some guys, like I was lucky enough to be on a team with Frank Gore, been around a long time, and they were taking his attempts down to try to preserve him. But he was very much like, no, I need to feel the rhythm of the game. I need to feel the rhythm of it, and one of these is going to break. It feels like whenever they have a stable, there's a couple guys that are in every single play. Some guys can't get a groove either. Is that a good read, you think, or a bad read on the current status of how running backs are used in the NFL?
No, you're absolutely right. And especially if you are used to being the guy to get most of the carries. Because when you talk about a rhythm and a tempo, you do start to get that throughout a game. And a lot of times, I know for me personally, I would set things up early in the game. Like I would stay in the A gap, stay in the A gap. Even though I saw that linebacker
Hey.
starting to run over the top or starting to hit the A gap too fast or just standing there where I can bounce it outside, I'm going to continue to set him up because it's a rhythm, it's a tempo. Then all of a sudden in the fourth quarter or late in the third quarter, I'm going to make that cut. I'm going to make it because I've set him up the entire game. It's difficult to do that these days because you don't get an opportunity to as a runner. You don't get those chances to carry the football 20 times a game any longer.
Do you think that's good or bad for the state of football, and do you think that'll ever come back? Now, once again, I'm stating Derrick Henry, Mike Vrabel has been very committed to, hey, third quarter, we're down 17, we're still going to run. Like, there's still a benefit of our offensive line coming out and hitting. There's still a benefit of the defense having to tackle Derrick Henry. Like, we can wear him down. We'll get him at some point. Do you think the game's going to come back around to that, or do you think this position is potentially going to be changed forever as more of one scat back, one is a blocking back, one is a run up the middle back? Do you think that's just how the game's going to go and kind of evolve?
I think so. I mean, you're gonna always have. Come on. Yeah, but listen, Pat, you're gonna always have
position's
special
dead.
guys.
Yeah. Position's gonna be dead. Debo's gonna be. This gonna be.
Yeah.
No.
I don't think it's gonna be dead though, because you're gonna always have special guys that you have to give the ball to. That's gonna always be there. But football is evolving. It's becoming basketball on grass. Where you got to create these mismatches and you got to, try to get scheme guys open. And that's what it's becoming. And to be quite honest, it's fun for the fans to watch. This wide open game, it's fun for the fans. And being a lifetime fan, Pat, as you probably are, growing up back in the day, seeing the Cowboys play, win those titles in the 90s, being a Texan. But it was 4 yards in a cloud of dust most of the time. And then Aikman would hit that play action and bang gate to Michael Irvin, right? That was football back then. We're not going to see that anymore. Not like that is gone forever. We now have 11 sets personnel. That's 4 wide receivers, 1 back, shotgun most of the time. Let's do this RPO stuff.
I grew up in Pittsburgh. Jerome Bettis was the wheels on the bus went round and round, and it was like it was almost marketed like, hey, we are a ground and pound team. We got this big dude who's going to run you over, but he's got quick feet. Hey, he's got quick feet. And then all of a sudden, it's either going to be Neil O'Donnell or Maddox or Cordell Stewart. They're going to hit for 1 or 2 throws, and then we're right back to the ground again. And I think there's some fans that are still calling for that in everywhere, but the rules make it for the pass game to just be opened everywhere. Let's talk about some of the teams. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say really quickly, the one thing that's the easiest way to win in an NFL. So if you're a team now, let's say the Atlanta Falcons, where they're struggling on offense, maybe they're getting ready to go through a transition at the quarterback position. You're going to probably, like, the best way to win games is to condense the game by running the football, trying to win time of possession, playing really good defense, because you're not going to throw the ball 35, 40 times a game. You can't do that and win.
The Cordero Patterson experience, he's supposed to be a running back his whole life, by the way. Remember, he was a wide receiver.
Somebody screwed that up.
Yes. He was a wide receiver in the running back era. Now he's a running back in the wide receiver era. And he's fucking unbelievable. He is electrifying to watch. Let's talk about some of these top teams last night. The Buffalo Bills. I mean, it was a rout. That Titans team, number 1 in the AFC just a year ago. Head coach of the year in Vrabel. They lose Luan. That's obviously a problem. But that Bills team, are they peaking too early? Is that the only negative? They're peaking too early. Is this team stoppable, you think? What do you think about how and why they got to where they're at, LT?
Well, I think this Bills team is primed to make a deep run and possibly win a championship. What does it take to do that? You got to have the experience. You got to get there. You got to be there, make deep runs, lose heartbreaking type of games, be able to come back from that with the core of your group. And they have a great core. Adding Von Miller to close out these games late in the fourth quarter, is only going to help them. And it's going to come down to, as you know, Pat, you're going to have to be lucky a little bit toward the end of the season with injuries. And also, we talk about weather. If you're going to come to Buffalo, maybe they do want it to be cold as hell and snowing all over the place. You come to Buffalo, you're going to have to change up your game plan in order to play here. So all those things have to fall their way. But I think there are some super talented teams in the AFC. So I believe whoever comes out of the AFC will probably win the championship, because those teams in the AFC are going to beat the hell out of each other this season.
You're talking about the AFC South more specifically, right? Yeah, like the Colts and the Texans and the Jags.
Well, I'm talking overall AFC.
No, you're talking about the AFC South. Yeah, the AFC South is what you're talking about. Yeah. Hey, 1-5-2 in 2 weeks, the AFC South. Everybody else in the AFC is good. AFC South stinks, seems like. LT, that's really what it seems like, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, I am concerned about the Titans. I am. Because when I look at playmakers on the outside, they don't have any, man. Yeah. They got the young kid, Burks, I think is his name, from Arkansas.
Traylon.
Yeah. And, if you have to rely on the rookie, then you're in trouble. I'm just going to say that. You're in trouble if you got to rely on the rookie at the wide receiver position to be your number one. And I don't see much talent on the team, except for Derrick Henry. Ryan Tannehill is solid. He's a solid quarterback. But can he lift you? Absolutely not. And then here's my issue on defense with Tennessee.
Absolutely not.
Here's my issue. They give up too many free yards, man. Like, I get the zone coverage and all. Last night, they let Stephon Diggs catch everything underneath, and then they let him get behind him. Like, how does that happen? You give up everything underneath, and then you let a guy run past you and get behind you as well. So I think Tennessee is in real trouble. Heck, your coach might still have a chance to come back and win that division.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. All word out of Colts camp, we're good.
All fine.
24-0 out of Jacksonville, all good. Don't worry about it. Right. We get some about. Hey, that's what's being said, LT. It is tough not to get on this microphone and be like, let's not say that, okay? Just for the sake of public perspective, let's say, not good. We lost 24-0 to the Jags, but they're saying it's all good. The AFC South is going to be a dogfight, but the AFC as a whole is so talented. I like the battle-tested theory you have. Like, any team that comes out of the AFC has been through it a lot. Battle-tested, ready to go. Let's talk about the NFC. A couple of the top teams before the boys have their questions for you, LT, and we appreciate you joining us. Aaron Rodgers, we talked to him here in a couple hours. From week 1 to week 2 looked drastically different. Was that the addition of Allen Lazard? Was that the addition of Jenkins back on the offensive line? Or do you think sometimes it's just going to take a little bit to figure it out when you lose a guy like Devontae Adams? What are your thoughts there?
Well, I think having Allen Lazard out there helped tremendously. I mean, that's a guy that Aaron Rodgers is familiar with. He has a connection with him. And Aaron even said himself weeks ago that, this is a guy that I believe in. He's going to be the number one wide receiver. And he thinks he's going to have a terrific year. So I think that was part of it. But also getting Jenkins back. You have to continue to protect Aaron Rodgers, so that's always good to get those guys in front of you back out there. But at the end of the day, it's still Aaron Rodgers, consistently getting on those young guys, telling them where they need to be, how they need to do things, showing them examples of what he wants from them. And it's going to continue to build. They're going to get better. The great thing is they got 2 dynamic runners. That's the great thing. And so I think Green Bay, in the end, they'll be there. They'll be right there.
200 combined rushing yards between Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. Aaron Jones went for 132 or something like that, and then A.J. goes for another 68. Hit a massive same-game parlay on all of them having success. Mm-hmm. I hope they continue to do that. Last question for me. Tom Brady still got it. Hey, still got it. How? How and why do you think? You retired at 32. I retired at 29. Obviously, I have a friend in Adam Vinatieri once. He was 46. He's the most competitive human of all time. I get it. But Tom Brady coming back, still having that fuck you bitch, right? Still has that. How do you think? Do you think that's just something you're born with and you either got it or you don't? And how long do you think he goes for?
Well, I think Tom Brady might be the most disciplined athlete of all time. We talk about him being a GOAT, but think about it, Pat, this. think how hard it is to keep that discipline up. The off-season work that you have
Oh,
to put
yes.
into it to continue to be in shape, your mind to be great. That arm is still strong. He's still throwing the ball freaking great.
Yeah.
Like it's unbelievable. So I'll say the off-season dedication that he's shown with the whole body stuff and being dedicated to his body. And I would like to know, how much freaking money he spends on his body. I mean, that's what I would.
What is that?
Because LeBron does the same thing.
Yeah, LeBron's at like
look
$1
how long
million a year.
LeBron's been playing.
Russ.
Bron spends $1 million a year. Is that Russ that spends $1 million a year? Tom's got Alex Guerrero. What? He lives like with him. I think.
Yeah.
He actually
Guest
has. He has
Yeah,
like
Alex used to be my guy as well in San Diego, and I knew how much I was paying him.
Oh, you had Alex too? Yeah, because I think people forget that they had like fleets. Because Vinatieri had some of Guerrero's guy that came out and worked in Indy for a couple of days. You guys had that in San Diego as well. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I actually met Alex Guerrero through Keenan McCardell a long time ago. I had this injury. Keenan had worked with him for years. See, Alex started out flying around. He had guys that he saw; those were his guys. He would fly to different cities after the game and spend a couple of days with guys just working on them. And I had a serious injury one time, and Keenan hooked me up with Alex, and I pretty much stole him at that point for the rest of my career, man. I put him on the payroll.
Hey, that's what everybody did. I think that's what everybody did whenever they got a chance to work with this pliability and the muscle massages. Because Vinatieri was like, "Hey, I will pay for your first session," because I was told the price.
Yeah.
Much like you probably were. And I was like, I ain't paying a fucking guy that amount of money to come in. Like, I'm just fine. No, it's going to make you better. And I should have listened to Vinny, obviously. I should have listened. But I the next day after the guy worked on me in my house, muscles in my body that I didn't know I had were sore. Like they were rolling it out, working it out. The pliability is a real thing. The avocado ice cream that Tom has kind of brought into it, he stole it from everybody now.
Yeah.
So Tom, and there was I assume you were even pitching your team like, hey, we should pay this guy to only work for us. I know in the Colts that was happening. I assume other teams it was happening. And then Tom was able to make it happen with the Patriots, and that's all she wrote. But you're right. The food discipline, the drink discipline, the time management discipline, the mental focus discipline. He has to be the most disciplined guy in the history of sports.
And dude, I'm telling you, I mean, at 32, I was just about burnt out. I don't know how you felt at 29, but I was just like, I'm freaking tired, dude. Like, off season, like, can I take some more time off? Is it time to go back already? Like, how does this dude do this? It's incredible.
He loves the game. He loves the game, they say. LT, that's why so many people retire, first day of training camp, first week of training camp. They're like, I enjoyed what I was doing yesterday.
Not again.
Not loving what I'm doing today.
Yeah.
Get me out of here. But we appreciate everybody's. Hey, 32, you retired young? Still Hall of Fame, bro.
That's right.
yeah.
Don't matter.
Appreciate it, man.
Absolute stallion. The boys have some questions for you. Go ahead, Ty.
LT, I saw, and I don't know if you still are, but that you were a special assistant to Dean Spanos with the Chargers. In my opinion, at least, you're the greatest Charger of all time, bar none. Do you like what you see from the Chargers, especially now that they've moved to L.A.? And is like getting into the front office or coaching something that you'd ever be interested in?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I do still have the title of being Dean Spanos Special Assistant. And I love what the Chargers have done. I mean, Tom Telesco, John Spanos, that front office has done an outstanding job of accumulating talent, via draft or off-season, trades.
Hey, they
Khalil Mack
spent
being there,
money.
J.C. Jackson. Absolutely. They spent money. And so here's the thing. When the last time we can say that the Chargers have spent money like that? That should tell you that they believe that this window that they're in with this young quarterback, it is now. They can win now. And so I absolutely think they can. They proved it to me just the game against Kansas City. Like, they should have won that game. Like, there's no question in my mind, if that game is in L.A., the Chargers win that game. And so I do envision possibly one day I would love to be in the front office. I don't want to coach.
No way.
I think that's too much time away from the family. It's too hard. I don't want to work that hard.
You
But
got to care
being
about
in the
so
front-
much stuff. You got to care about so much stuff too. That's completely out of your control, and your success hinges upon it. It's like I don't know how they sleep
Right.
ever. I don't know how good
Yeah,
they
me
sleep ever.
neither.
Terrible.
Yep. No, but I would love to one day possibly work in the front office in some capacity. I don't know what that would be, but maybe.
Maybe own a team, LT. Why not just
What do you say?
go own a team, LT? You know what I mean? Have Spanos, so give you a percentage and then work a couple business, buy a little bit more,
50%,
then go somewhere else, just like Tepper did with the Steelers, buy another team. Let's get you into an ownership role because the NFL is a cash wagon. I'd love to see a former player in that seat. I would like to talk to you about the Spanos saying they see this window. Do you think they learned that because of the Phillip Rivers era? Do you think that's it? Do you think they were like, we didn't take advantage of having a guy? We could have invested. We could have won more all in. Do you think they don't want to do that again with Herbert? Or do you think just natural? Yeah?
Yeah, I think a little bit of it plays into it. How can it not, right? I mean, when you think about the window that was there for so long with Phillip Rivers, and I think there's a sense that maybe we could have did more, to help Phillip, to probably keep that window open. And you don't want to make that same mistake, obviously. Experience is really the best teacher, right? We know that. And so I think the past experience has really allowed Spanos family to say, you know what, we have a window. We understand what we have in Justin Herbert. We're going to go for it. And that's what's happening.
I love anytime ownership goes all in, as opposed to the opposite, which does take place. So I assume all Chargers fans are pumped to watch it. I can't wait to see what they do. 30 minutes has already flown by, so I apologize immensely for this. Thank you so much for joining us, man. Hope to talk to you again soon.
Absolutely. You got it, Pat. Always a pleasure.
Ladies and gentlemen, LaDainian Tomlinson.